Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, in the last class, we had discussed about different quantum numbers, right? Different quantum numbers and how they are connected to the size, energy, shape, then shell, subshell, their spin, etc. Right? So, now we are going to learn about certain important points related to this quantum numbers. Okay, related to this quantum numbers. So first one, number of subshells in the nth shell. Okay, number of subshells in the nth shell. You know that there are different shells there, right? K, L, M, N, etc. That we can designate as 1, 2, 3, 4 till N. So the number of subshells in the nth shell can be N. Okay, number of subshell in the nth shell, that is equal to N. You know that in main shell K, there is only one subshell S. Here it is SP, here it is SPD, and here it is SPDF. And in nth subshell, there are N subshells. Okay, sorry, in nth shell, there are N subshells. Clear? Then the number of orbitals in a subshell that can be calculated by 2L plus 1. 2L plus 1. You need to write first 2 points. Skip this part. This is not important. Number of subshells in the nth shell, that is equal to n, and number of orbitals in a subshell that can be calculated 2L plus 1. 2L plus 1. Have we completed these 2 points? Yes or no? Yes, right?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay. Only need to write first 2 points, okay? The number of subshell in nth shell, that is equal to n, and number of orbitals in a subshell, that is 2L plus 1.
Finished, ma'am.
Then, yeah, then the shapes of atomic orbitals. Next heading, shapes of atomic orbitals. We are going to find out the shapes of different orbitals. Orbitals means subshells itself. Okay, there's S subshell there, P, D, F, etc. We are going to find out the shapes of this atomic orbitals. So shape of atomic orbital, it is obtained from the variation of wave function psi as a function of distance r from the nucleus. Shape of this atomic orbital, it is obtained from the variation of wave function psi. We have learned one wave function, that is psi. Do you remember that one? I told you it will give information about the probability of this electron, right? Where this electron is located. So the shape of atomic orbitals, it is obtained from the variation of wave function psi as a function of distance r from the nucleus. Distance r from the nucleus. Then the shapes of orbitals may be represented in terms of boundary surfaces. Shapes of these orbitals may be represented in terms of boundary surfaces. I will show you the boundary surface diagram of each orbitals. Okay. This boundary surface diagrams gives the most probable regions. The regions in which we can see the electrons. That's considered as the most probable region. So the shape of atomic orbital, it is obtained from the variation of wave function psi as a function of distance r from the nucleus. And the shapes of orbitals may be represented in terms of this boundary surfaces. These boundary surface diagrams gives the most probable regions.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, will you repeat the first point?
First point, that means the graph. We can able to find out the shape of this atomic orbital just by find out the variation between this wave function psi and the distance r from the nucleus. Okay. Do you have textbook with you, children? Yes or no?
Yes.
If you have textbook, that's in the page number 57. Page number 57. There is one graph that's plotted this wave function psi against this r. That's the radius. And this wave function is psi. Okay. And using this relation, we can able to find out the shapes of each type of orbitals. That's the first point. Shape of atomic orbital. It is obtained from the variation of wave function psi as a function of distance r from the nucleus. So depending upon the graph obtained, we can able to find out the shapes of these orbitals. That's the first point. And the shapes of orbitals, it may be represented in terms of boundary surfaces. In terms of boundary surfaces. These boundary surface diagrams gives the most probable regions of this electron. Have you completed these 3 points? Adulya, it's in page number 57. 57.
Ma'am, is it figure 2.12?
Yes, yes. And the first graph that shows the relation between wave function psi and the radius, right? And we can also plot psi square. Okay, you can write one more point here. The variation of psi square as a function of distance r. Distance r from the nucleus. The psi square, that means the probability density. Psi square, that means the probability density. The same point, then the most probable region where we can locate these electrons. Okay, that's also means by the psi square. So there are two different types of graphs. So from this variation, we can able to find out the shapes of different atomic orbitals. Shall I move to next slide, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then the shapes of atomic orbitals. First one, s orbital. This subshell is otherwise known as orbital. Okay. So first one, s orbital. It has a spherical shape. And this type of diagrams are known as boundary surface diagrams. Okay. Boundary surface diagrams. You can just draw this figure. Just a sphere is needed. Okay. Just a sphere is needed for this s orbital. S orbital. So the shape of this atomic orbital, yes, that is spherical shape. Spherical shape. And we know that only one orbital is there, right? Only one orbital is there. So only one figure there, that's in spherical shape. That's in spherical shape. And the second one is p orbital. You know that there are 3 orbitals for p subshell, right? There are 3 orbitals for this p subshell. So we can draw this figure like this. The first one with 2 lobes, okay? Similar to that of a dumbbell shape, right? Similar to that of dumbbell. So 2 lobes there. We can draw these lobes. First, I think, yeah, the first diagram, that's in x-axis. Okay, there are 3 axes there, x, y, and z. The first diagram, it's along the x-axis. 2 lobes are there in x-axis. And the next one is along y-axis. Okay, along y-axis, two lobes are there in y-axis, and the third one is in z-axis. Z-axis. So actually, this one is x. This one is y. Okay, and this one is z. Two lobes are there. We can draw each lobes in particular axis. If it is in x-axis, we can write px. Okay, px. Then if it is in y-axis, you can write py. Then the third one is in pz-axis. If it is not clear, you can look it in your textbook. If you change the axis, it's not a problem. Okay, you have to mention 3 types of axis. If you can draw x-axis in the horizontal direction, it's okay. Vertical direction, it's okay. But there are 3 axes, and 3 orbitals should be drawn in 3 axes, 3 separate axes. Clear? There are 3 types of axis: x, y, and z. If you draw 2 lobes in x-axis, you can write px. If it is in y-axis, you can write py. Then if it is in z-axis, it is pz. So these are the 3 different orbitals of p subshell.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Yes, sure. This p orbital has 3 orbitals, right? P subshell has been divided into 3 orbitals. So we can draw these p orbitals as 2 lobes, similar to that of a dumbbell. Dumbbell shape is there. You can write here, it's in dumbbell shape. Dumbbell shape. So 2 lobes are there. We can draw each lobes according to its axis. There are 3 types of axis: x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. If you draw 2 lobes in x-axis, it is px. If you draw 2 lobes in y-axis, it is py. And you draw 2 lobes in z-axis, it is pz. So there are px, py, and pz orbitals. And this is the boundary surface diagram of p orbital. S orbital has only one orbital, that means spherical shape is there. But in the case of p orbital, there are 3 types of p orbitals. So we can draw 3 figures depending upon the axis. Then how many figures are there for D subshell, children? D. Can you tell me the number of orbitals by D subshell? Yeah, anyone?
5.
It's 5, right? So it has 5 diagrams. Have you completed this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So px, py, pz are the 3 types of orbitals formed by this p orbital. Okay. Shall I move to next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the shapes of d orbitals. Shapes of d orbitals. Okay, you can just write down the names and you can copy this figure from your textbook. I think that's better for you. This figure is little complicated. That's in the page number 59, figure 2.15. 2.15. I will explain each figure. First one is DYZ. Okay, DYZ. That means the 2 lobes are in Y and Z axis. Okay, 2 lobes are in Y and Z axis. The next one is DXY. Okay, DXY. So here the two lobes are in X and Y axis. Two lobes are in X and Y axis. Just wait. This is different from your figure in the textbook, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we can draw it. Just wait. One by one. You can write the heading d orbitals. D orbitals. You can draw along with me. First, you can draw the axis. One. This one is Z axis. Then next one is Y axis. And here it is. Sorry. Yes. This one is X axis. And the two lobes are in between these two. That means here one lobe, then here one lobe. Okay. This one is for D, X, Y. This is the first figure, D, X, Y. D, X, Y. This is the first one. Then the second one, you can draw the axis first. Then the next one is D, X, Z. D, X, Z. You can draw it neatly, okay? First one is dxy and the second one is dxz. dxz. Shall I move to next one? Have you completed these two?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No. Okay, okay, then you can complete it. There is no such questions from this part to draw this diagram. Okay, no need to worry about that. Shall I move to next one? Yes, right. Okay, the next one, same here, Z axis. Then this one is X axis and one more, that is Y axis. Okay, this one is DYZ, DYZ, DYZ. Then the fourth one, You have to remember these names. Okay. This one is dx square minus y square. Dx square minus y square. This is the name of fourth orbital. We have learned dxz, dyz, then dxy, then dx square minus y square. There is one more, that is dz square. Dz square. So these type of diagrams are known as boundary surface diagrams. Okay, boundary surface diagrams. Have you completed these two?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then one more figure. Z-axis, then x-axis, y, and there is one small here. Actually, it's like this. Okay, this one is known as dz square. Dz square. So the 5 d orbitals are designated as dxy, dxz, dyz, then dx square, y square, dz square. That's important. dxy, dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square, dz square. These are the 5 d orbitals. And all these orbitals, they have same in energy. Okay. The case of p orbitals also, they all have same energy. So these are the different types of d orbitals: dxy, then dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square, then dz square. These are the 5 types of d orbitals. Do you remember the names of p orbitals, children? P. Devi Krishna, can you tell me the names of p orbitals? P. Only 3 types there, right? Can you tell me? Symbol px, py, pz. Okay, px, py, pz. Then in the case of s orbital, only one orbital, that is in spherical shape. Okay. Shall I move to next topic, children? Okay, that's the
Yes,
node
ma'am.
in atomic orbitals. Okay, nodes in its atomic orbitals. That's important one. Nodes in atomic orbitals. Nodes are the positions where the probability of finding the electron is 0. In these nodes, we cannot able to locate one electron. We learned that this atomic orbitals, it consists of electrons. They are located somewhere, right? That's the meaning of probability density or the orbital, etc. But here the nodes in atomic orbitals, that the positions were the probability of finding this electron, it is equal to 0. It is equal to 0. Okay, just 1 minute. Children, today onwards there is entrance coaching, right? Yes or no? Okay, again back to nodes. Nodes are the positions where the probability of finding the electron is 0. And there is some equation to find out the total number of nodes that is equal to n minus 1. Total number of nodes that is equal to n minus 1. And the angular nodes that is equal to L. And the radial nodes that can be found out using this equation n minus L minus 1. So to find out the total number of nodes, it is n minus 1. Angular nodes, it is equal to L. L means azimuthal quantum number. N for principal quantum number. Then radial nodes n minus L minus 1. Total number of nodes can be calculated by n minus 1. Then the angular nodes that is equal to L. And the radial nodes that is equal to n minus L minus 1. Okay, then we can just find out the total number of nodes in each case. First, we can take 1s orbital. Okay, 1s. That means the main shell is 1 and the subshell is s. 1s orbital. So here the total number of nodes can be calculated by n minus 1. So what about the value of n here? N minus 1 for 1s. Tushar, can you tell me what's the value of n here? N.
I don't know, ma'am.
Look here, it is the number of shell, 1. The principal quantum number also n. It represents the shell. So can you tell me? Please guess.
1.
Yeah, 1. So 1 minus 1, that is equal to 0. And here the angular node. That's L. So can you tell me the angular node of this one? It is S subshell. John Joes, angular nodes.
Ma'am, how many subshells?
Here the L value can be calculated from the subshell, right? Here it is yes. So what about the L value there?
S minus 1.
No, do you remember this one? S, P, D, F, etc. They have values 0,
Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, 3. So which is the L value for S? These are the L values. Now you can tell me
0.
0, right? So here the angular nodes also 0. Then the radial nodes, it's also equal to 0, right? Because the equation is n minus L minus 1. That's also 0. So there are no nodes, angular nodes or radial nodes for this 1s orbital. 1s means first shell, s subshell. Okay. First shell, s subshell. Shall I move to next one? Then we can please check 2s. 2s. So can you tell me the total number of nodes here? Equation is n minus 1. John Philip, can you tell me? 2s.
2 minus 1.
Yes, 2 minus 1. So it is 1, right? Nodes equal to 1. Then angular nodes. Angular nodes. Here also it is 2s. So what's the value of L? Alandina, can you tell me?
Zero.
What's the- Yeah,
0.
yeah, very good. 0. Then what about radial nodes? Equation is n minus L minus 1. Here n is 2, then L is 0, then minus 1. That's equal to 1. So only one radial node. Okay, then we can do 3s. 3s. Children, switch on your videos. Nimida, can you tell me the number of nodes?
2.
Yeah, 3 minus 1, that is 2. Then angular nodes. Here also, yes, subshell. Alan Joshi, can you tell me? Yes, subshell. So what about the angular nodes? Yes. Unmute. You have to remember these values. Yes, P, D, F. The 0, 1, 2, 3. So can you tell me now? Here it is yes subshell. So which value for L? Alan? Can't hear you. Emmeline, can you tell me? Emmeline?
Ma'am, 0.
Yeah, 0. Then radial nodes, Emmeline?
3.
That means 3 minus, here L value is 0 minus 1, right? So here it is 2, isn't it? 2. 3 minus 0 minus 1. Okay. Then next one, 2p. 2p. Nodes. Malavika, can you tell me number of nodes?
2 minus 1, 1.
Yes, 2 minus 1, that's equal to 1. Then what about angular nodes, Shabari?
1.
Yes, it's 1. Very good, because P has the L value 1. The next one, radial nodes. Devi Krishna, can you tell me radial nodes? Unmute.
Ma'am, I got disconnected, so I don't know.
Okay, okay. Lakshmi, can you tell me? Lakshmi?
0.
Yes, 0. N minus L minus 1. So 1 minus 1 minus 1. That's equal to 0. Okay, then what about 3p? 3p. The nodes equal to 3 minus 1. So it is 2. Then angular nodes. Here it is 1. Then the radial nodes. N minus L minus 1. So 2 minus, sorry, 3 minus 1 minus 1. That's equal to 1. So this is the method to find out the total number of nodes, then radial nodes, angular nodes, etc. Is this clear? Have you completed, children? All of you, please switch on your videos.
Ma'am, I am using mobile net,
Ah, it's
so
okay, Jolly. It's okay. Meryl, can you tell me the equation to find out the number of nodes?
n-1.
Yeah, n minus 1. Aditya, what's the equation to find out angular nodes?
L.
L. Then what about radial nodes, Sarah? Radial nodes.
n minus
Hmm.
L minus 1.
Yeah, n minus L minus 1. Have you completed this one? All of you?
Yes.
Yes. Then we are moving to this electronic configuration. That means there are certain rules for the filling of these electrons in different orbitals. There are certain rules for filling of electrons in its orbitals. So the distribution of electrons in different orbitals, it is known as electronic configuration. I told you, the case of S shell, there is only one orbital. Then in P subshell, there are 3 orbitals. Then in the case of D subshell, there are 5 orbitals. So the distribution of electrons into this different orbitals, it is known as electronic configuration. The distribution of electrons in different orbitals, it is known as electronic configuration. I think you have learned the distribution of electrons into main shell. You remember that one? KLMN, right? Like that. If we are taking the example oxygen, you will write how can we distribute these electrons? Or how can we write the electronic configuration in main shell? Atomic number of oxygen is 8. So 2, 6, right?
2.
Yes, 2, 6. But here we are going to distribute these electrons into different subshells, not to different shells, okay? To different subshells. So the distribution of electrons in different orbitals. Orbitals are otherwise known as the subshells, okay? So there are 5 orbitals for this D subshell. There are 3 orbitals for this P subshell and only 1 orbital for this S subshell. So the first principle is known as Aufbau principle. Aufbau principle. These rules are very important. There are 3 rules there. The first one is Aufbau principle. And according to this principle, in the ground state of the atoms, orbitals are filled in order of their increasing energies. Always the orbitals are filled in increasing order of their energies. Okay. I will show the example. Yeah, example is here. Okay. In the ground state of the atoms, the orbitals are filled in order of their increasing energies. The orbital energy, it is defined by a rule known as Bohr-Bury rule or N plus L rule. Yeah, you can skip this part, okay? First, we can learn this Aufbau principle. So, according to this Aufbau principle, there is one order for the increasing energies, okay? And this is the order. Oneness is less than, sorry, oneness, yeah, it's less than 2s, then less than 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, then 3d. Okay, that's the difference. You know that in the main shell 1 there are s only, then 2 s, p, then 3 s, p, d, and 4 it is s, p, d, f. So we will guess the increasing order of their energies. 1s, then 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d, 4s. But here the order has slight change here in 4s and 3d. Okay, 1s, it is less than 2s, it is less than 2p, it is less than 3s, it is less than 3p, then it is less than 4s, like that. So here you have to write 4s before 3d. Okay, you can write 4s before 3d, then 4p, 5s, etc. So this is the order of increasing energy. So you have to fill the electrons in this order. After the completion of 1s orbital, you can move to 2s, then to 2p, then to 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, like that. Okay, so that's the Aufbau principle. The electrons should be distributed into different orbitals according to their increasing order of energies. Increasing order of energies. This is clear, children? We are starting from 1s, then 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p. After 3p, you have to write 4s. Okay, then 3d, then 4p, like that. I think this figure is better to understand about the increasing order of energies. You can write the main shell, n equal to 1 here. Then write the subshell like that. Then you can just draw a line like this to show the increasing order of their energies. Starting from 1s, then 2s, then 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, then 4d, 5p, 6s, like that. We are usually using till this 4p. Usually we are using this electronic configuration till 4p. So it is very important to learn this increasing order of energies at least till 5s. Okay, clear? This is clear, children? Any doubt there? So according to this Aufbau principle, the electrons are distributed into different orbitals according
Can
to
you
their...
show the previous slide?
Yes. Now you just need to write only till here, okay? Only the Aufbau principle. Remaining part we can discuss in the next class. Why this 4s comes before 3d. So this Aufbau principle, in the ground state of the atoms, the orbitals are filled in order of their increasing energies. Now it's time, right? 4:31. So we can repeat this point again in the next class. No need to worry, okay? Okay, children, so we can discuss the remaining portion in the next class. We can repeat the same points again, okay? No need to worry for that. Okay, then thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.